GameMasters here, and oh, hold on, I'm in the Zombie Mall studio. Well, actually, that's okay. It fits right in with today's topic, monsters. I want to chat about monsters found in Dungeons & Dragons. They're a part of every campaign I've ever either played in or run. Over the years, players have even wanted to play as some of the monsters found in the Monster Manual, and it's not exactly been an easy task in determining stats and abilities that could translate well enough over for a player to be able to actually play that monster as a playable entity. But what if we've been going about it all wrong? I am seeing a major shift in race description and even to a major extent in creation on the side of Wizards of the Coast to make things on their end more generic to allow for players to more fully customize and personalize their characters. The result is, not much information is being presented in an official form to give any major guidance as to what motivates the race or class. I have a feeling that the reason for this is to get away from the general stereotype. For example, a dwarf is generally known to be short, full of facial hair, brash, short-tempered, and always looking for that next mug of ale. And as such, they have a starting bonus of +2 in Constitution. Depending on the specific type of dwarf, you can even see an additional bonus. Hill Dwarf gets a +1 in Wisdom, Mountain Dwarf gets a +2 in Strength. For years, this has kind of shoehorned dwarves into being either a rogue or a fighter, kind of like Gimli from Lord of the Rings. But what if you wanted to play a dwarf that didn't care about drinking, or one that wanted to be a wizard? That is the main concern that has been plaguing players over the years, resulting in many homebrew campaigns to change up how those bonuses are distributed. Wizards of the Coast has taken notice of this, and when I mentioned at the top of the video that I've been seeing a major shift, this is exactly what I mean. But here's where it gets really cool. Wizards is also opening this up for some potentially bigger plans for even playing as monster races. Let me give you an example. In the newest Unearthed Arcana, Travelers of the Multiverse, we are provided with this section that reads, Creating Your Character. When you create your D&D character, you decide whether your character is a member of the human race or one of the game's fantastical races presented in this article. Remember those words, include the races presented in this article. If you create a character using a race option presented here, follow these additional rules during character creation. Ability score increases. When determining your character's ability scores, increase one of those scores by 2 and increase a different score by 1, or increase 3 different scores by 1. Follow this rule regardless of the method you use to determine the scores, such as rolling or point buy. The quick build section for your character's class offers suggestions on which scores to increase. You're free to follow those suggestions or to ignore them. Whichever scores you decide to increase, none of the scores can be raised above 20. Okay, so that is their playtest new method of character creation. But remember, when they cited include the races presented in this article, one of those races is, a traditional Dungeons & Dragons monster, the Thri-kreen. This is what is convincing me that Wizards is slowly opening up the option for players to play almost as any given monster found in the Monster Manual as a playable race and character. So before we put this practice to use, let's examine the Thri-kreen in its Monster Manual version side by side with the Travelers of the Multiverse playable option. Thri-kreen are a large ant-like insectoid. The Monster Manual version states that they use a language that has no words, instead clacking their mandibles and waving their antennae. The Unearthed Arcana version states the same thing, however, this is where they differ. In the Monster Manual, to communicate with other creatures, they will rely on drawing pictures or making pictures with twigs and grass, and buried off to the side here, it states that they can also use telepathy out to 60 feet to help communicate with outsiders, whereas in the Unearthed Arcana version, their telepathy can reach out to 120 feet. Further, in the Monster Manual, Thri-kreen are a humanoid, whereas in the Unearthed Arcana version, they are a monstrosity. I'm not 100% sure of the reasoning behind that specific change, but that is a change. Their speed in the Monster Manual is set at 40 feet, whereas in Unearthed Arcana, it is 30 feet. Both versions can forego the need for sleep, and both change the color of their carapace, and both have dark vision. Now, there are some very subtle changes in looking over the specifics of how the Unearthed Arcana version is laid out, and we get a good feel for how easy it could be to move other monsters from the realm of being monsters into the realm of being playable characters. What is going to be exciting is to see exactly how things are laid out in Mordenkanin's Monsters of the Multiverse due out in several days. While I feel with most certainty that the Unearthed Arcana article, Travelers of the Multiverse, has little to do with Monsters of the Multiverse, I feel strongly that it's more related to a possible Spelljammer release, but more on that in a future video. I do think that what it's doing is laying the groundwork and providing to us good evidence, as I mentioned at the top of this video, the direction Wizards of the Coast is taking us and the freedom they are providing to us in regards to playable options and freedoms. Homebrewing, it appears, is what this is all opening up to be about. Homebrewing without the hassle or the rules lawyers. What monster would you want to play as? A Tarrasque, a Hook Horror, Brass Dragon, a Thrycreen, something else? Let me know in the comments below, and until next our paths cross, may you not find yourself playing as a monster and encountering a group of adventurers.